and we're back. Another edition of the All Out NRL Fantasy Podcast. Today's podcast is going to be a bit different. We're going to be going through blank canvas of our team and just sort of start to build what we think. What do you reckon, Coop?
Oh, mate, it's a process.
Could this be rogue?
Billy Bean, it's a process, and it is a rogue. I don't think I've ever done a team this early.
No.
But the All Out faithful, they've asked for it, and we always deliver on this podcast.
This could be anything.
Could be anything.
We could have an entire team of pods. It could be the vanilla, boring team ever.
Mate, this is what the people want, okay? They want to see us go through the pain and anarchy of what might be an NRL fantasy podcast and how to create their team.
As the Sixers once said, trust the process.
Trust the process, and that's what we're going to do.
We have earnings.
We have earnings.
Have to mention at least once.
Yeah, so if you haven't gathered from what we're doing or the title, we're legit creating a team from blank for the people that we think right now might be the best options for round one and what that team might look like. We might post it on Instagram. We might keep it in secret for those that actually watch the YouTube. So we'll see how we go here.
Yes. Imagine if we got a real pod player, 0.1% of teams posted. Reckon that would influence?
I reckon it would. Should we try? I reckon we should try.
I don't think we have that pull.
All right, listeners, this is what we're going to do. Number one player. Let's find someone with 0%. Let's find someone with 0% and get him in, and I want to see that go up. Can it go up 5%?
I've got one for you. Taj Annan. We're obviously Reds fans. I might have interviewed him once back in the day. He's in.
Okay, Taj Annan. Everyone that's listening.
Oh, he's in 1.9%.
Okay.
That's all right.
That's okay. 1.9%.
Taj is in.
Taj is in. He's in
our centre spot starting.
Yeah. So listeners, if you really want to rally for us here and really get behind the All Out podcast, I want to see Taj Annan in 5% of teams.
And
before
he's actually a good player, Taj.
Before the weekends, I'd say. Before this weekends, I want to see 5% of Taj Annan.
Oh,
can that be done?
We don't have that pull, bro.
Can that be done?
Taj is good, so
yeah. Taj is good.
Imagine if he just gets the starting gig.
We'd look brilliant. We'd look brilliant.
I don't think we would.
Let's start off with the hooker position though, mate. And we said last podcast, and if you haven't seen it, make sure to subscribe, like this podcast, and leave a comment about our team. Make sure to like Taj as well and get him in your team. 5%. I reckon the only person that you can have in your starting hooker position this year is Harry Grant. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we go there. I do think Connor Watson will rival him in points, though.
Yeah, and
obviously at the moment you can't get him.
Yeah, I'm happy putting Harry Grant there. So if you want to put him there, yeah, we'll put him there.
You did mention last podcast that JMK is a good little pod.
I do like a JMK pod. I think you could go through a lot of minutes and a lot of work.
We could come back to it, but if we have Mamazulis, I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. You could have just a cheapie as your starting hooker.
Yep, agreed. So far, Harry Grant and Taj Annan in the team. Let's go straight to the mids. Now, this is going to be interesting. This is where I reckon a lot of points will differ from the teams because the teams are going to be very similar to start the year.
If we reflect back to our good run of form a couple of years ago, where we were in first for a bit, I think the best aspect of our team, we had gun mids.
We just stacked the mids, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I don't think we had a star fullback.
No.
And we went away from that strategy last year, and we didn't crack the top 10K until at least round 8.
I reckon we struggled all right, but that's because we
were so far behind.
Yeah, we were playing catch up.
So I reckon this year, mate, we go back to what we were thinking a few years ago, and we stack these mids. So I think we just splurge. There's nothing wrong with the Yao.
I like that. I'm going to command refresh the page.
Yep. Yao is in.
Yes.
A sleeper for me, of course. Actually, it's not a sleeper, but he's a must-have. Terrell May, he's in.
Yep. I agree.
670K. There's our two mids. And if we're going based off the logic that we did a few years ago where we came first, it's either Carrigan, Hopgood, Barnett, or Haas.
I was going to throw in Corey Horsburgh, but he could always be a bench option.
Could also be a bench option. But if we want to really go from that strategy that we did last year or a few years ago, it's Haas, Carrigan, Hopgood, Barnett for me.
Jeez, Haas and could be absolutely dangerous.
It's just gobble, isn't it?
I want to see if Hopgood's going to be all right for round one. I assume he is.
All right, Haas is in.
Yep. Okay.
Haas is in. Let's skip edge for now. Let's come back to it.
Yeah.
Halves.
Put him in.
We just
we
know
don't even have to say the word.
we don't have to say the word.
Jet
We're not going.
Cleary.
No, we're not. Jet Cleary, Warriors prospect. Get him in.
Yeah, get him in.
No,
Why is my page refreshing?
Nathan Cleary, he's in. The other guy that I feel like a lot of people are going to go, and we obviously can't go Hines here because we've splurged too much in the mids and in the front rows here.
Yeah.
The other guy that everyone is going to go, and if people aren't going these two, I have questions for you. It's got to be Munster. It's got to be Munster.
You think?
Yeah, 589K.
Don't worry
We
about
know he's a
Munster.
55 plus guy. We know he's a 55
Was he that
plus
last
guy.
year? I think he
No,
still,
it wasn't last year.
He said he was playing on one leg last year, but what's changed? All it takes is a little hit there.
True. So who do you think we should go?
I
Or
was thinking just cheap and Sandon Smith.
Sandon Smith. I don't mind that at all.
Mm.
Okay, let's piss off Munster.
I
You've
don't
heard
know.
it here first. No Munster.
I don't know about Munster. I think he's going to be good, but
The Storm draw is also very good. That's
Munster
what
isn't washed, obviously, but fantasy-wise,
we could be.
Mm.
All right, I like Sandon Smith.
I do like Munster, though. He's very cheap.
Let's just leave Sandon Smith now because I feel like we're going to lose a lot of money because we got a top three there.
Yeah.
Other centre, like if you're a fan of the podcast, you know we do not splurge on the centres.
No.
We know that.
I was happy with just Jack Bird.
Jack Bird, agreed. Jack Bird.
Try and get those centres that aren't playing centre.
There was a person that we didn't bring up last podcast, that we did think that could be a pod for me is Brabham Best.
Yeah.
I see him being a good pod.
If I had to splurge my money on a centre, I probably would go Herbie,
Yeah.
but he's 700k.
And would it go against our theory
Yeah, it would.
of the mids and we
Yeah.
stacking them?
That's,
So
that's why I wouldn't do it.
back three, leaving the edges, obviously. We have 5.188 mil K here. Iongi speaks for itself. Get him in.
Yes. And in terms of the gun, we spoke about last podcast. Any of those four guys, Latrell, Turbo, Teddy Ponga, I think you're not going wrong with any of them.
No.
But I think Latrell, upside guy.
I like the
They're all-
upside
they-
guy.
They all can get 100 on their day. But if my theory of Rabbitohs being elite this year is correct and him being fit, likey.
Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
Latrell's in. Bang. Who's the other guy, though? This is where it gets tough.
Well, like Longy's locked in, obviously.
Iongi. Mitchell.
Iongi. Is Pap just a bit of a trap?
My only issue is, and this is my thinking, if Cam Munster goes well, Pappenhausen's going to go well. If Pappenhausen goes well, Munster's going to go well. That's my thinking.
I think
Because they're
this-
both attacking upside guys. Like Munster's not going to get the kicking meters.
Yeah.
Pappenhausen's not going to get the points without the tries and the attacking stats. Munster's not going to get the points without the tries and the attacking stats. So where do you go from here? My other sort of...
I assume the Storm are getting at least top three. I think they might be minor premiers again. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no concern about point generation
No.
in terms of the team. And we also got to remember that Pap last year was almost a bit of like a comeback year from injury.
Very true.
I'm just going to quickly look at his stats at the end of the year.
One guy that I want in my team, but also don't know how to pronounce his last name, is Mark Nawangatawaze.
It's close.
Nawangatawaze.
We'll work on that.
No
I'm not
Wanga
gonna even
Wataze.
attempt it. I'm just going to say Marky Mark.
Nawangatawaze.
I think we get Pap in.
Wataze. I think Marky Mark could be in for a hell of a year.
Yeah, he has to get picked.
Like, if you're not picking him in your starting team, I don't want him on my bench.
Yeah, I think we get Pap in.
You want Pat?
He averaged 42 last year. If you don't include injuries, you got to factor in that he was a bit, he was slow to start off with.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Pap.
Okay, happy there.
In terms of like our edges, do we go back to them?
Yeah, we'll go back to
think
the
there's
edges.
two
So we got
obvious guys.
we got 3.5 mil here, and I think it was you that said it on the podcast last podcast. Is that the edge position is where you can get your pods.
Mhm.
Do we want to go those pods, or do we see the value in IPAP and Bateman?
I think we go IPAP and Bateman.
I think we just
I think
go
I
IPAP and Bateman.
I have to contradict myself. If we were going to go a pod edge back row, I think I like Preston.
Yep, good pod.
Yeah.
I
Or if we wanted to go Haas to Hopgood, then we get the dual, which will be handy.
actually kind of like this. IPAP and Bateman both in 2.2 mil for the emergency and bench here.
Mm.
Kind of a fan.
I'm liking the look of Taj in the centre.
I'm really liking the look of Taj. If Taj isn't in 5% of teams here, guys, come on.
Bit embarrassing. He reduces in ownership.
Do it for us here.
Yeah.
I actually really like the look of that team.
It looks good.
I really do like the look of that team.
Sanders Smith might have to be the go as the starting half.
Yeah. If you don't want Munster, then he might be the go.
Otherwise, it'd have to be maybe like a Haas to Horsburgh, and then you can maybe downgrade like a Latrell to a
Ponga.
and then you might be able to get Hines.
No, I reckon only Sanders Smith to Munster. You'll only have that.
Yeah,
much
true,
time.
yeah.
Let's go straight to the bench. So our starting for the bench, look, it's probably just Cheapies Town here.
I reckon we just get in all these cheapies now if you can.
Yep.
It's not updating for mine.
So I'll say it now. Rob Toyer, do you want to add him?
Yeah, add Rob.
Add Rob Toyer. Have you got the doc up there? Do you?
Yeah, add Peter Memo, Zulus,
Toyer, Peter, Motza.
Purdue, he might be getting that starting spot at centre.
Purdue.
Royce Hunt, I think, is someone to get in.
Oh yeah, definitely Royce Hunt.
Maybe that Amon from the Doggies.
Yep. So we got 630K for two people here.
Ooh. Aaron Clark. Nah, I don't think Aaron Clark.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, go Marky Mark.
Are
we forgetting about like an obvious cheapie here?
We got 280K. Last player. Marky Mark.
Just go like Tom Duffy. No. Who's a cheapie we're forgetting about? Go like filter it by.
Filtering it by.
Could go like
price
a
here.
Kalma Tuolagi, who might get that Eels starting spot and be pretty good. He's 420K.
Can't
We'd-
afford
we'd,
that.
We'd have to work around that. Just go like a put in like a. Do we have Royce Hunt in?
Yep.
Just go like the highest owned player. That Woods maybe from the Doggies.
Mitchell
just a-
Woods.
Yeah, just someone to fill in.
Placeholder.
Placeholder, yeah.
I actually kind of like this team. I really do.
This team will probably be better than what we produced round one.
I actually really like this team.
We'll somehow just absolutely choke it.
I'm taking a screenshot of this straight away because I'm actually a big fan.
This is the problem, though. We have this set in our mind, and then the first TLT comes out,
Yeah.
and it doesn't fit our narrative.
No, it doesn't.
We Taj Annan isn't picked, and we just freak out.
Mate, I think the Knights will see how much Taj Annan's ownership will go up, and they'll be like, if we don't pick this guy, the NRL faithful is going to be very disappointed in us.
Yeah.
So I reckon he's picked already.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's picked.
That coach is a fantasy player, and he's seen 5% of this community liked him.
I actually really like this team. And if we're going based off our logic from last year, like I'm looking at that starting five already. Sorry, starting six. Grant, Yao, May, Haas, Papali'i, and Bateman. If they all do what we're planning them to do this year, then that does not have to be changed.
Like, it's a fairly vanilla team. If we want to introduce some pods, I think the guys are like Horsburgh, your Prestons, that we would think about getting in. But
I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Cleary won't have to be changed. Latrell won't have to be changed. Pappenhausen, depending on how we play, won't be have to change. That's what 2, 3, 9 guys out of your 17 that's already locked in for the full year.
Can I put this to you? I actually think Munster will perform better than Pap. What's their price difference?
Munster is 589, so he's 50K extra.
Yeah. I think we try and get that changed somehow.
Try and get changed somehow.
I think Munster will go better than Pap fantasy-wise.
Okay, I'm happy to work around that.
But, like, in the meantime,
I'm
very happy.
I'm very happy. And I hope that was a good listen.
And we've only done that in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is how easy it is, listeners.
This will come back to bite us.
Yeah, big
Just
time.
the worst team ever.
Worst team ever produced. If you enjoyed that, and we'll obviously probably do it again heading into round one. We won't reveal our last team purely for the fact that we don't want everyone copying. Like, that's pretty logical.
Yeah, well, we'll just reveal it like after that Thursday game.
Yeah.
Or even maybe a bit later.
Bit later, yeah.
That lockout.
Good idea. Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow the Instagram.
Get Taj.
Get Taj. Do it for the percentage. We want 5% before the end of the week.
Yes.
We'll see you then.